To our policemen and women, I want to say that as president, I am very proud of what our security agencies have been able to do to secure our nation, to secure our properties, and to make sure that our families can sleep in peace. And it is the reason why among my first assignments as president was to look at the terms of service and emoluments of our policemen, of our prisons, NYS, and serving police security officers in that space. We are making steady progress in improving the terms of service of our policemen and women, including all the other security agencies in prison, in NYS, and in the other sectors. And it is also the reason why I have taken the firm position that we must look after our policemen and women as they look after our families and our properties and securing our nation. It is the reason why even our housing program, I announced the other day that we are going to dedicate at least 20% of those housing programs to our policemen and women and our security men, our security agencies. Why? Because for a very long time, our policemen and women served and lived in very deplorable and dehumanizing conditions. And that is why we are now building additional facilities, more houses for our policemen and women, and giving them an opportunity to own homes like all other citizens. I ask of every citizen and every leader to respect our police and to support our police to make sure that they secure our country. We have sufficient infrastructure to make sure that this happens within the law. I am very proud of what our policemen and women have done in Haiti, for example. Kenya was chosen amongst many nations because we have a professional police service that works within the law, that operates within the parameters of the requirement of human rights, and to make sure that our nation is managed in a manner that respects the law, but makes sure that we are a stable, progressive, and democratic nation. So to IG and your team, you have my support 100% to secure this nation and to operate for all of us, every citizen. Nobody is above the law. None of us is above the law. You cannot intimidate the police. You cannot use force against the police or insult or threaten the police. You are threatening our nation. Because these are our frontline defenders of our rights as Kenyans and of the right of this nation to be peaceful and to be secure. So, ladies and gentlemen of the police force who are here today, of the police service who are here today, I want to give you my assurance that as you secure this nation is going to make sure that you are also safe and your families are safe. Kenya is a great sporting nation, and our Kenya police is the incubator, the powerhouse of sports in Kenya. So if you combine our nation as a great sporting nation globally, and the place where that great sporting talent is nurtured is our Kenya police, then this becomes a very significant morning that we are meeting here, not just as the Kenya Police family and the huge contribution you are making to sports in Kenya, from athletics through ball games and everything in between, including tug of war, as the AG has said. So, and therefore it is significant that we are meeting here this morning so that we can appreciate what you are doing, what the contribution the Kenya Police Service is making, not just to the security of our nation, but also to our sports and being the greatest ambassadors of our nation. I will continue to make sure that every security officer, every person who puts their lives on the line for our nation so that our families can be safe, so that our properties can be safe, and so that our nation can be safe, I will make sure that this nation stands by them and supports them. And I say this without fear of any contradiction, because without peace and security, without stability, we don't have a nation. It is just as simple as that. And as Kenyans, we must be clear on how we go and where we go and how we get where we want to get. I must say this as president, that without peace, without security, without stability, we don't have a nation. The people who put their lives on the line to make sure that our families are safe, that our properties and nation is safe and stable, are our security agencies. As they put their lives on the line, we as a nation will support them. This administration will stand by them so that they can discharge their responsibilities within the law and make sure that our nation is safe. For the people who want to undermine, demean, try to intimidate our security agencies, I am telling them you're doing the wrong thing. Our security men and women deserve every support that we can muster for them to secure our nation. And we must work with them. And therefore, to every police officer, from the constable, the man on the beat, I give you my assurance that the government of Kenya will support you, will stand by you as you secure our nation and as you secure our country and keep our families safe and our properties safe.
The budget and appropriation, the Honorable Mwashako said, you know, his county of Taita, he made a joke saying that all the tall women in Taita are opting to look for outside Taita and they are only left with the short women. So it's because the amount that they were getting, Haika can confirm, and you know she's married to Rift Valley and she's tall. So, Honorable Speaker, this formula now ensures that Taita Taveta gets an extra 300 million. Getting an extra 300 million means they are able to do development, similar to Elgeyo Marakwet and other counties, to 12 counties that were being marginalized. And this, I hope that the counties will be able to utilize those resources. You know, Honorable Speaker, me and you comes from the western part of this country. And you know what has been happening in my county of Trans Nzoia, where resources are disappearing with no meaningful development in the county, where money is being stolen left and right. So, Honorable Speaker, it's embarrassing. You know, when devolution came in, each of the counties was expected to have meaningful development. With this shareable revenue formula, Trans Nzoia is going to get an extra 100 million. But I'm hoping that that money will not be stolen. Because if we are adding, we want to see meaningful development in Endebess. What project has the county government of Trans Nzoia done in Endebess? What project has it done in Kiminini? What meaningful project has it done in Saboti? What meaningful project has it done in Kwangsa and Cherangani? That is what we want to charge our county governments with. Because the National Assembly agreeing with this formula from the Senate and by extension from the CRA means that they've been able to look at how possible development can be able to reach the ground. And Honorable Speaker, it will be a shame that this House appropriates that, agrees with this formula from the Senate, making sure that our people get meaningful development and money ends up in people's pockets. I think that is the most disgraceful thing that can happen. So, Honorable Speaker, this is a good formula, and we hope that it will bring meaningful developments in the counties, that each and every county will have money to do development, just not money for recurrent, but money for development. You know, some of the county governments are, instead of using the money to do development, they are employing goons so that they can move around from one constituency to the other to intimidate even members of parliament. I think that is not where we want to go as a country. And we want to ask the Inspector General of Police and the CS, Murkomen, to make sure that they rein on these goons. We should not be a country of goons, because that will mean we will deteriorate and go the Haiti way, where everybody will have his own militia. That is not what we want. So, Honorable Speaker, with this formula, I think we are happy as a Committee of Budget and Appropriation, and I hope that the National Assembly will be able to pass it. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I second.
Order, members on their feet, take your seats. Members on their feet, take your seats. Members at the back, take the nearest seats. Thank you. Honorable members, I'll now propose the question at order number 11, which is the taking into consideration the findings of the Budget and Appropriations Committee in its report on the consideration of the fourth basis for revenue sharing for county governments laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 19th June 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 217, 1 and 4 of the Constitution on allocation of the share of national revenue among the counties, this House concurs with the Senate and approves order. This House concurs with the Senate and approves the fourth basis for the annual allocation of the share of national revenue to the county level of government for the financial years 2025-2026 to 2029-2030 without amendments as follows. For county equitable share below Kenya shillings 415 billion. County allocation, baseline allocation ratio, Kenya shillings 387.425 billion, plus Kenya shillings 3 billion shared equally among the identified 12 counties, plus 0.45% on population index, plus 0.35% on equal share index, plus 0.12% on poverty index, plus 0.08% on geographical size index. County equitable share, Kenya shillings 390.425 billion. 2, for county equitable share of Kenya shillings 415 billion and above, count allocation equals baseline allocation ratio, Kenya shillings 387.425 billion plus Kenya shillings 4.46 billion shared equally among the identified 12 counties, plus 0.45% population index, plus 0.35% equal share index, plus 0.12% poverty index, plus 0.08 geographical size index, plus county equitable share, Kenya shillings 391.89 billion, where one, order, Honorable Kajwang. Order. Where baseline, actually the offender is the member for Kibra. Yes. Order. Where baseline allocation ratio equals the allocation factor derived from each county's allocation for the financial year 2024-25. 2, the 12 identified counties are Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Nyandarua, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga. 3, the population index is based on the 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census. 4, the poverty index is based on the 2022 Kenya Poverty Report by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. And 5, geographical size is capped at 10%. Oundo, I see you are the first on the screen.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. By your very guidance, probably the debate here can be rendered redundant. I don't see how we'll raise 233 to challenge. But just as through Honorable Speaker, I just would wish the Chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee, having deliberated and dealt with this matter, to probably explain to us Kenyans on what criteria were the 12 counties selected. That is Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Nyandarua, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga. Would want to understand, is it a matter of population? Is it a matter of poverty index? What are those socioeconomic parameters that were used to select those 12 counties, considering that Kenya has been independent since 1963? We have had devolution since 2010 or came into effect 2013. All of us will be interested to know on what basis. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, we can never discount the question of poverty index. It's so critical. Indeed, as many of my colleagues have always complained about sessional paper number 10 of 1965, that deliberately marginalized some places and parts of this country. And indeed, that element is a historical matter that will take many, many years to be resolved. Second, thirdly, Honorable Speaker, I would have expected, and this discussion was done, I think in the third one, where physical discipline was awarded some marks, so that how much does the county itself collect in terms of own source revenue? How much does it adhere to the provisions of the Public Finance and Management Act to ensure there is prudent use of public resources and there is value for money? Dropping that criteria is giving the counties a blank check to continuously misappropriate and misuse public resources and generally make them lazy not to pursue their own source revenue. Because many Kenyans keep on asking, why would Nairobi County literally require any resources from the national government? It is the biggest county. All the resources are here. Why would it even require resources as part of the equitable share? So, Chair, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I second, I support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Osoro, are you gesturing like you want to speak?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support